If you are currently running a fitness bootcamp or you are thinking about starting one, you need to watch this video. Welcome back to Mittwork University. My name is Coach Fat or Shrink, and my co-host, Coach Oscar, will be joining us inside. Our goal with the show is very simple, guys. We want to share fitness, boxing, education, and entrepreneurship. So whether you are a one-on-one PT, a group class instructor, or a gym owner, I believe that with the information that we're about to share, we can all win together. Today's episode is a two-part series with Coach KARLA of Victory Boxing Studios. She reveals a lot of information, guys. So the three major things that she shares is, number one, tells us how she came up with the idea to come up with an all-female fitness bootcamp. Number two, reveals how she grew this bootcamp from scratch from 0 to 52 female clients. And lastly, this is the real kicker, guys. She's actually going to reveal the bulletproof accountability system that she has built for the bootcamp that is producing amazing weight loss results for her clients. And without further ado, let's get into the show, baby. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Mittwork University podcast. This is episode number 3. In this podcast, what we do is we try to help personal trainers live a life of passion and profit by adding Mittwork to their existing fitness business, guys. So with that being said, I want to introduce my co-host, which is Oscar of Victory Boxing Studios.
What's up, you guys?
What's up? And we have the lovely KARLA today. Say what's up.
Hey. Hi,
Awesome.
how's it going?
This is actually the first time we've done a 3-person podcast, which is really, really cool. We're going to get right into things because we know that people's time are very valuable. KARLA, kind of give us your origin story as to how you became a trainer.
So I started training actually with Oscar. He opened up the gym, Victory Boxing, and at the time we only had the boxing portion of the gym. So I decided to start a women's boot camp, and we've been doing that ever since. It's been about a year or so. Pretty nice experience.
So you were Oscar's client?
I actually was Oscar's girlfriend. Am Oscar's girlfriend.
God, okay. So I just want to make sure I get the facts straight. So you guys were already a couple, and then you were like, hey, maybe we should start adding a female boot camp.
Correct.
Got it. Okay, cool. What inspired you to go, hey, let's do a female boot camp?
Mainly because as a woman, it's very difficult, and as a beginner, to top it off, to find a gym that accommodates just women. And I've always been pro women. I don't want to say women empowerment, but pro women. And I felt like that was the perfect time to do that. And thankfully, it's been successful. We get a lot of positive feedback. So I feel like it was definitely the right move.
Nice. And what was your thoughts on that, Oscar, when KARLA came to you with the idea?
You know what? I do remember she brought it up to me, and at first I was kind of like, skeptical because obviously there's we're sharing the same facility. And like any owner, you kind of want to think things through first a little bit. You're not sure how to dive into it. No, but yeah, I remember she ran her first one, and I was like, no, this is a good idea. This is cool. It started to work for a little by little, but no, yeah, I do remember that first camp in particular. There's like a lot, that's like your trial phase. Like, you make mistakes, you kind of figure out what's working for you, what isn't. And I feel like we kind of, we have something here that'll work, but we just have to find a way to make this better now.
Now, were you guys running classes at the same time, or was it separate or in a separate room? Like, how did the logistics work out?
At the time, we had more boxing in the schedule because we only have one floor. We have a smaller training room in the back, but at the time, I don't even think it was really ready yet. I think it was still like 2 units.
Is this being run at the same time as you run class and KARLA runs class?
Yeah, so we ended up eliminating 1 hour of boxing pretty much to compensate for the camp. And I think at the time, I had a class only. Yeah, this is the first one. It was at 6 in the morning. I had a class at 5 a.m. and then I had a class at 6 a.m. But my 6 a.m. was always really small. Some days there was nobody at all. Some days it was like 2-3 people. So it was like hit and miss. And I remember we pondered on the idea of that hour. We ran the camp. And I want to say, how many girls do you remember, KARLA?
I believe it was 15 girls. It was just a trial camp. It was literally something 15? That I was like, 15 girls. And I was like, okay, let's do this. If we get this many girls, and at the end of camp, if they like it, we'll get their feedback. If so, then we can maybe host another one after. And that's how it started. It was just like, okay, one camp at a time. And now next thing you know, we're at our 12th camp, I believe, or our 13th
That's
camp.
Incredible. That's
13,
super cool.
I want to say it's like our 13th. Yeah, before it was only 6 a.m. And then Then we opened up one at 7 p.m. and then one at 8 p.m. I remember things the same thing happened at 7 p.m. 7 p.m. was always hit and miss, and then our 8 p.m. at the time was a women's boxing class, but same thing, super hit and miss, and then eventually just dried out. So that's when we went with the boot camp schedule at 6 a.m., 7 p.m., and then 8 p.m. Now they sell out almost every time.
Wow.
Yeah, 7 p.m. is definitely our bigger class for sure.
I can see why, because it gives people ample time to get off of work, go home, maybe get a bath to eat, change. Because 6:30, depending on your job, that could feel really tight, right?
Yeah.
Now, Karla, when you started this class, what if you can put in one sentence, like, what did you want these ladies to get out of your female boot camp?
As the camps progressed, of course, I've learned that a lot of the girls that were signing up were new moms. They had been maybe 3 months, 4 months
postnatal, as opposed to
yeah.
postnatal. I think it's postnatal. Yeah, postnatal.
Yeah, so they and not just that, but also as a woman, you know, there's a lot of times in your life when you don't feel the best, and I felt like, what better reward than to gift a lot of these new moms? You know, they're going through so many changes. Their bodies are changing. Their self-esteem is changing. So more than anything, I wanted to give them a little bit of that self-esteem back by giving them the results that I think that they deserve.
That's amazing. I mean, I've never been a mom, but I mean, I can't imagine like the confusion, like, you know, because it's like you're getting a job and there's no like job description, like nobody tells you here's your manual on how to be a great mom right off the bat. So that's awesome.
Yeah, and time management too. I mean, a lot of these girls don't have a lot of time. They have jobs, maybe they're barely going back to work, and you hear a lot of like, I just wasn't feeling so good about myself, and maybe they're going through like a identity loss, because I mean, being a new mom, I know that as a man, it's not the same, because you don't have to carry a child for 9 months. You don't have to birth the child. You don't have to be there during the first 3 months. And I think that as a woman, that's something that is very detrimental to your self-esteem. And more importantly, your routine and your identity as an individual. And I think that camp really, really brought that for a lot of these girls.
That's so amazing.
That was deep.
I feel like a lot of times, I know, right? I was like I'm starting to feel a little chills in my body. I was like, ooh, that was real deep, like very like church Sunday. The music's coming on and she's just preaching. But I think a lot of times, one thing I've been realizing, just community is so underrated when it comes to fitness. So underrated.
That's true.
Because I think a lot of times what people are looking for, I mean, and I was thinking about this today after I got out of the gym this morning, which was, what's the reason why people like going to the gym, right? You could work out at home. You know, you can work out with very minimal equipment, minus all the equipment, minus the vibe. What people are really looking for is they're looking for a tribe. A mom's circle, they may not have anybody that works out. They may not have somebody that is just as motivated as them to go to that class and get in the sweat, get a workout in, become stronger, become more confident. But when you go to the gym, you look around and everybody is just like you.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, I think I could relate to that actually, because we take the Fortune Gym for an example. That's kind of like the cool thing, you know what I mean? Like, I think especially at Fortune, you have a very, very diverse amount of people. You know what I mean? Like, yes. I want to say like, just, you know, like even ethnicity wise, just age, like everybody's super, super different, but everyone's there for the same common goal. You know what I mean? And no one's trying to fuss around or anything, where everyone's just kind of there to get a good work in. And
my next question is, let's just per se, do you think the class would have been just as effective if Oscar ran it versus if you ran it, Karla? Because it is a women's boot camp. Like, do you think the perception of the students would be different?
Actually, because it is a boxing gym, Victory Boxing, it's, as a beginner and as a woman, I feel like it can be a little bit intimidating to step into a place that's established with people that have been there for such a long time, that are possibly really good at boxing. So I think that having that female element really makes them feel more comfortable to be there. And I try my very best to make them feel as comfortable and not just get the results that they're there to get, but also to make them comfortable, to make them have a great experience. And I think that really goes a long way in obviously their experience there. I think that Oscar would definitely do a great job at running it on his own. But I think that him and I we're a good team. You know, he has a lot of strengths that I don't, and I have a lot of strengths that he doesn't. So to see if he would be able to run one on his own it'd be interesting to see. But I think that together we really, really make the space that much better. You get the best of both worlds.
Yeah, I think this would just be me personally speaking. I don't think that as a guy I can help a girl with her self-esteem. You know what I mean? And
yeah.
And because it's like I'm not a woman myself.
I didn't know that. I had no idea.
So
I had no idea.
So I don't know how to like, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, you don't a man can't make a woman feel like a woman. You know what I mean? Like,
let me try to
like,
paraphrase that. I think, Oscar, you can do a great job, but I think a woman brings an extra level of familiarity that we just can't give them because we're just not a woman, right? So when Karla says something, because she is a woman, she has gone through certain things and she can identify with a female struggle. Versus when we say, it's kind of like me, right? Like, I've never boxed, so I can't tell the fighter, hey, do this, jab, roll underneath and hit the body. Like, I mean, theoretically, I know, but I don't know because I haven't been in that situation. So a fighter is less likely to listen to me, even though I could have said the right thing. Versus Oscar, if you step and be like, yo, bro, I need to stick that double jab, drop down to the body, push him back, right? I think it's the same idea.
It's like more or less the same concept. Yeah, it's like I don't know if you maybe experienced this, but like there's always like a different element between a female coach and then a male coach. And I'm trying to think of this maybe like in like terms of like sports, right? I remember when we were wrestling in high school, it was all males. You know what I mean? So
you wrestled?
Yeah, it was a wrestler.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah, a bunch of guys, you know what I mean? So like there's a particular it's almost like a certain.
It's like a frat feel. It's like
Yeah, almost
a brotherhood.
It's like a brotherhood bond. Yeah, it's like a man-to-man thing. You know what I mean? Like, see, we were like on the track team though. The coaches there were women. So then the women there were a little more technical. But their drive, the way that they explain things was a little bit different. You know what I mean? They were still given the same concept, but their way of speaking and the way that they take a certain pace was very different as opposed to the males. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like I could bring out a particular part of the girls, but I feel like Karla can bring out a different section that I can't do.
Yeah.
You know
absolutely.
I mean?
The other day, one of our 6 a.m. girls, she's like, you can tell when Karla's teaching and when Oscar's teaching because when Oscar teaches, all he plays is rap music. So it's like, there's definitely that element of masculinity and femininity, I want to say.
Yeah, absolutely. Next question. So let's just, because I always imagine when we're doing a podcast, I want to imagine like a trainer or a new trainer, trying to take some good out of this podcast and implement it in their business. Now, when you say you tried to do your best to give them a great experience, what are some things that you do at Victory Boxing, the female bootcamp specifically, that you're like, oh, like when I do these for my clients, they feel really appreciated?
I think for me, is giving them more than what they paid for. And from personal experience is also making everybody feel comfortable because you are going to have clients that are not going to rub you the right way. You're going to have clients that are going to have an attitude. You're going to have clients that are just so many different personalities. And I think the best way to go about it is by remaining neutral for everybody. And I think that alone gives them a better experience because we have had people say that they've came from other coaches and these coaches have put them on the spot. Maybe they didn't do something right and they just kind of put them on the spot in front of everybody. So I'm very careful as to, okay, if I see someone doing something wrong and it's only one person, I'm going to tell the whole class, hey, this is how you do it. But I will never put someone on the spot to make them feel uncomfortable. So I think that that's mainly what I geared towards doing is not singling somebody out, making everybody feel comfortable, not, having favoritism for somebody else. You're always going to have people that you like more than others, but I think it's important how you present that to everybody.
Yeah,
so,
I mean, I'm guilty of that too. I'm human. When these ladies come, is weight loss / fat loss their main goal?
The majority. Yes.
Got it. And what sort of accountability do they get that is beyond the actual workout room?
Well, we give them meal guides, and I have them check in with me every day, every meal, every snack, every time they go out. If they have a drink, they check in with me no matter what time it is. And when I have time, because I do have a 9 to 5, so whenever I get some free time, I'll go on my phone. I'll take a look. If I see that they're having too much of something that they're not supposed to, then I tell them, okay, you can't be having this. But when the first day of camp, we always go through an orientation day, and we go through the rules and regulations of the camp. And one of the ways that we hold them accountable is if they have a cheat meal when they're not supposed to, then they run a mile for every cheat meal. If they're supposed to send in 3 meals a day and they only send one, then they owe me 2 miles, one per every picture that they didn't send in.
Wow.
Yeah, so there's a lot of accountability that goes into play, and I feel like that's the only way that we really reach the results that we want to get. So
like I almost feel like I'm helping myself out here right now, but because what's, one thing I tried to hold people accountable before. And at a certain point, it's really exhausting to be honest,
yes.
right? It takes a lot of work, and but what I realized was that without that accountability, like it's just really hard to maximize the client's results, and that's what they're coming for, right? I feel like sometimes I just forgot because I got so much into the Mittwork, and which is important. I had to remind myself that the Mittwork is just a tool to get them to the results, right? The results are more important than the Mittwork, right? But the Mittwork is just something that's really fun for them, that'll keep them engaged and get them sweating, right?
Correct. Yeah. And it is hard. And we do have some people that, which is one of the rules that we integrated as the camps went on, was if you are not making any progress, because we do have them scan every weekend, they go and get scanned to an in-body machine where it gives them the distribution of their muscle gain, body fat loss. So if I notice, okay, your week meals are not the greatest and you're not making any progress based on your scans, then after the second scan of no progress, I'm dropping you from the challenge. So they do have a challenge.
Wow.
Whoever the winner is of that challenge, they move on to the next camp for free. I'm like, you're dropped from the challenge, but you can still attend classes, but you won't be in the running towards becoming America's Next Top Model. So.
Wow. Okay. We're going to have to back up real quick. There are some changes that's coming to my business as well, too. The InBody is something that I used to use back in the days. So we're going to back this up real quick. So where is this InBody your InBody, or are you guys sending them to an outside referral source?
We send them out to, there's a local shop called NutriShop here. It's a supplement shop. So they're able to purchase their supplements, their protein there, and they get their scans done every weekend. So they have Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. They turn them in, and then Monday, when I have time, I'll go in there and I'll tell them, oh, hey, you lost 4 pounds of body fat and went up 2 pounds of muscle. Good job. And at the end of camp, I'll take everybody's progress and see who's made the most progress. That person usually moves on to the next camp free of charge.
Let me try to get this straight. So let's say I come in, I'm a chick. I mean, I'm sorry, not a chick. I'm a lady.
Damn.
I'm a lady, and I want to lose some weight, right? So I sign up for the 6-week challenge. I make progress, and then if I do make the progress, what is the actual goal? Is it like 1 pound per week? Is it 1% of body weight per week? Like, what's the parameters?
Well, we don't really have like a limitation, just because obviously, we have girls that are on the smaller side. We have girls that are on the big side. So it's more of like whoever makes the most progress. So you're competing against, I want to say our last camp before this was 52 girls. So amongst those 52 girls, if you made the most progress, whether it was you gained more muscle, you dropped more body fat, whatever the case may be, that person would move on to the next camp for free. We have had at least 3 winners that have been very consistent with being the camp winners. So if you out of all the girls lost 10 pounds, then you would move on for free to the next camp.
Do you do this in terms of how many pounds lost, or percentage of body weight loss?
Pounds and muscle gain.
Got it. Okay. Basically from camp to camp. So let's just say I got the most progress in camp 1, then I get to move on to camp 2. everybody else that made progress, is it basically like it bought them another ticket to buy into the next camp?
No, they would just have to sign up if they would be interested in signing up. But we have had returning girls that have been with us for multiple camps. So at that point, if they're no longer wanting to do the challenge anymore, then we do offer them a membership option, and they can just attend classes. They would obviously have to pick a time slot because we have limited spaces, but it's a membership and they can just attend whenever. They don't have to turn in meals anymore or take progress pictures or turn in scans. So that would be like another option once you've reached maybe your third camp and you're like, okay, I think I've made the progress that I wanted, but I still want to continue working out. Then they would have that option.
Oh, okay. So there's the challenge. What do you call the challenge class?
The boot camp, but there's a challenge in the boot camp. You don't have to do the challenge. The challenge is just to see if you make the most progress, then you can move on to the next camp for free. But if you don't want to participate, you don't have to. You can just do the boot camp.
Is there a separate class, or is it like I just don't pay for the challenge?
It's the same class, just different billing.
Okay. So now what is the cost difference between actually doing the challenge with the class versus just taking the class?
It's a $30 difference. So $30 for more if you want to do the meal guides, if you want to do the pictures, progress, all of that. Or if you just want to attend classes, then you can just do the membership. With the membership, we do have a 3-month contract. So if that's something that they're not willing to commit to, then they can just pay for the entire boot camp, the regular price, but they just wouldn't participate in the challenge.
Basically, there's a female boot camp, right? And if I want to do the challenge, then I just add on an additional $30, right?
Correct.
Got it. And if I don't want to do that, then there will be a 3-month commitment to actually taking the class. Let's say it's $900 and you just pay that up front.
It would be a monthly membership.
I got it. Thanks for joining us for another amazing episode. I know I certainly got a lot of value out of this episode because as I'm making changes in my business right now, I'm going to be actually implementing a lot of stuff that I learned today to my business ASAP. And we hope that you're able to take something away from this and implement it into your business as well. Lastly, if you feel that we have really delivered on value today, please give us a like, share, and a subscribe so that we can share more valuable information just like this and get it to your YouTube doorstep. With that being said, we'll see you guys in the next episode. Until then, peace out.